gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time!
Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the My Two Cents podcast, presented by and hosted by G2. I am G2. This is episode 249 of the podcast, and the first thing I'd like to do is ask every single one of you, how are you doing? I'm hoping everyone had a good to great week. If you did not, I'm hoping that this upcoming week that we're about to embark on will be great and illustrious for you, and I hope everyone keeps good positivity. Because that's what the world needs right now. And that's what a lot of people needs. Not just the world, but a lot of people. Because every day we get up and you don't know what side of the bed you might wake up on. I want people to wake up on at least a good side of the bed. You might start off grumpy, but you can get your coffee in. You can get your energy drinks in, whatever people take in the morning. You can just boost yourself up and then decide to turn your day around. That's what I want for a lot of people. Even if you wake up, again, as I said, grumpy, decide that in the morning you want to turn this day around, don't want to have this feeling of just being grumpy and trying to throw this energy off to other people. Start changing that and start making the decision that you're going to just decide that I'm going to have a great day. So please do that. Don't throw off bad energy, bad vibes, bad juju onto other people, okay? Also, as I say this every Sunday, and I'm going to continue to say this, please manage your stress. Everyone has to deal with stress on a day-to-day basis. Certain people don't. God bless you. But a lot of people have to manage stress every day. I don't want you to have to deal with more stress than your body can handle. Only deal with the stress that you can handle. And if you can't handle things, or shall I say, if things are out of your vicinity or things that's just out of your reach, it's just out of your reach, and just let the cards lay where they lay. Because I don't want people to succumb to the stress and more stress. And I've said this before, stress is a silent killer. Stress will attack you mentally and physically, and it will send you to an early grave. And I don't want that for anyone out here. So please, ladies and gentlemen, please do not add on to your plate with stress this week. Handle what you can handle and let everything else fly by the wayside if you cannot handle it, all right? Now, with that being said, it is now time for me to move on to your National Food Days of the Week. Today being October the 12th, it is Pumpkin Pie Day as well as Gumbo Day. October 13th, Yorkshire Pudding Day. October 14th, Dessert Day. So that's just real and like generalizing. So anything that you count as dessert, you can just eat it on that day. October 15th is Red Wine Day as well as Mushroom Day. October 16th, Liqueur Day, so please drink responsibly. October 17th, Pasta Day. And then to round us out, October 18th, it is Chocolate Cupcake Day. So with that said, that's your National Food Days of the Week. And now it's time for me to move on to the condolence. In the Hollywood entertainment field, we just, at the time of me recording this, just found out that actress Diane Keaton has passed away. She passed away at the age of 79. No further details at the time has been released to the public. The family spokesperson has said that the family is asking for privacy, which I'm pretty sure everyone's going to give it to them at this moment. But when this thing hit my radar, I did not know who Diane Keaton was. And I'm going to explain it like this. I didn't know the name. I'm not too really good with names so much with people in Hollywood like that. Like certain names like Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Kevin Hart, like some of the names you can kind of like know. But like Diane Keaton, that name I didn't ring off to me until I saw her face, and I was like, oh yeah, that's the white woman that I've been seeing in movies recently. Because sometimes I can just flip through channels and sometimes she'd be popping in on some movies, and just recently I've just been seeing her in movies that I've been flicking on and off through. But she passed away at the age of 79. I would put her on one of those lists of like the white actresses that Hollywood would call for like the rom-coms and I'll say in her, I'm not gonna say later years, but like I'll say probably into like the 2000s, 2010s, even some in the 2020s. Like she was more for me rom-commy. She got her big break in the Godfather films. I did not know that. I haven't watched a whole Godfather movie ever in my life. But I've seen like clips of the Godfather like that. But yeah, she got a big break in the Godfather films. And then after that, everything just started to go her way with the acting career. She is survived by her 2 children. She was never married. She did make a comment on this saying that, and I'm just paraphrasing in this, she was to say that she is the only person in her like generation of actresses to have been single her whole life. So I think that should put into perspective for something. If you're in the Hollywood field and you're in that movie industry, music industry, I know you see people around your age bracket that might be married, that might be doing whatever with their spouse. Not everyone needs to be married. I've kind of like stood both of my feet into the ground, into the grass, into the sand, into the pavement, into you. Like I've been that guy that said that. Not everyone needs to be married. I don't think there's always someone for everyone in this planet. I don't think so. I think if you happen to find someone, you get into a relationship with someone, you love them for as best as you can, and if it happens to fizzle out, yes, you're going to have a bad, well, not bad. Yes, you're going to have, you're going to feel a type of way. But you'll be able to get over it, and if you want to get into another relationship with someone, that's cool. If you don't, and you just want to be by yourself, that's also cool. I think we've hit that, in this society that we're in, and I think with Diane Keaton, again, her being one of the top white actresses, I would say probably of all time, and just her just saying that she was one of the only one in her generation of actresses to be single her entire life. I think that's great, and I think that a lot of people in Hollywood, a lot of people in entertainment, hell, even some people that are 9-to-5ers, they need to follow that too, because certain people just want to be loved, end up marrying the wrong person and doing things that is out of character for them. So I would just say, just probably follow that. Continue on what you're doing. And if you want to get in a relationship with someone, you do it. And if you don't, you don't. But yeah, she is survived by her 2 children. So I do want to give my condolences to her children and also to every co-star, director, anyone that she had the pleasure of working with in Hollywood. And again, rest in peace to Diane Keaton. And I'm not certain if there's ever going to be the reason why she passed away to be released. I could be wrong, but at the time, as I said, right now, we have no information. The family is asking for privacy, so I think, once again, everyone's going to give it to them. So again, rest in peace, Diane Keaton. Now, moving on for the condolence over in the Hollywood scene, I do have to give a condolence to people that lost their lives in the Tennessee explosive plant accident. At the time, again, me recording this right now, they are investigating. ABC News will write up about it. They will say workers who were inside a Tennessee explosives manufacturing plant at the time of a devastating blast on Friday are presumed to be dead, authorities announced on Saturday. The sheriff would say in a press conference on Saturday, I can tell you that more than 300 people have been through almost every square inch of this facility, and at this time, we recovered no survivors. The sheriff would also add that we can assume that they are deceased at this time. Now, the explosion occurred Friday morning at Accurate Energetic Systems. That's about 50 miles west of Nashville. The sheriff will say this is a great loss to our communities. We are dealing with explosions, and I will say at this time, we're dealing with remains. The sheriff will continue saying that officials are now in the process of identifying the remains and are using cell phone data to determine whose devices were at the site at the time of the blast. So as of right now, they are investigating what caused this blast at this plant. and they got certified explosive specialists and bomb technicians with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives that's at the scene to help the local law enforcement that's there. In the article, they would say previous officials stated that 18 people were unaccounted for after the blast, and on Saturday, officials did not provide a specific number of individuals that have been recovered from the scene. So again, they're still looking, they're still going to be looking around. However, 4 to 5 people were brought to hospitals, according to the sheriff, who did not detail their injuries. So we know at least 4 to 5 people brought to the hospital. Cool. I'm hoping that they don't have no body parts blast off of them. I'm hoping that this was just probably like an aftershock thing, that they got hit with the force of it and they just like flew back. That's what I'm hoping for. The best case scenario with this. Worst case, a lot of body dismemberment, and I'm hoping that's not the case. But I know nothing about this building at all. In the article, they will say that this specific plant manufactures explosives and devices for the military, aerospace, demolition, and mining industries. They would say the customers include the Defense Department and Homeland Security, according to the Association of the United States Army. So this was I think a big time plant situation, and something could have just went wrong and something just blew up. Again, no one knows, because when you're messing around with chemicals and you're messing around with different things that you can easily craft to make something go boom, things could happen at any moment and it could be freaky. And again, it just has to suck. First and foremost, I want to give condolences to anyone that did lose family, friends, loved ones in this plant explosion. First and foremost on that. And 2, can you imagine being an employee at this manufacturing plant where you guys make things for aerospace, detonation, like demolition, mining, all this type of stuff? Basically, you're making stuff that could go kaboom. And just at any random time, again, things could happen, freak of nature stuff, and your whole plant can go bye-bye, like we unfortunately have here. You don't think that when you get up in the morning. You don't think that as you're driving to your job. You don't think that even when you're inside the facility like this. But this does need to be a thought that has to run through people's minds. It has to be now. Because no one would think something like this would go boom. No one. Because if so, I don't think people would want to take the job like this. I don't think so. I mean, there's probably, I'm not going to say crazy, but there's probably people out there that would get a thrill off of being at a job like this. Me, I don't see a thrill in this. I see nothing but just cautionary danger. And I think that's something that should just be the thing to take away from this. If you happen to work at a plant, know what you guys are making at this plant. And if it's something that is extremely dangerous, you probably want to start questioning, do you really want to be there, just on the freakish off chance that something wrong could happen. And again, I don't want no one to ever have that thought, but it should be something that people do need to be thinking about whenever they go into jobs like these. So again, rest in peace to everyone that did happen to, once again, lose family members, lose loved ones, lose co-workers at this plant. And again, right now, not a lot of information is out right now. They're still investigating this stuff. They're trying to figure out what caused the explosion. But hopefully, during this week, they'll release something thorough. But we'll wait and see. Another thing to be reporting on that's sad. There was 2 separate shooting incidences that happened in Mississippi this past, I would like to say, Friday and Saturday, because the one event happened on a Saturday morning. 4 people were killed, at least 12 others were injured in a shooting early Saturday morning. This comes from CBS. 2 people were killed, including an expected mother at a high school. And then you have another incident that happened at a homecoming game. And they would say that a shooting happened at a high school homecoming game. A suspect was identified and taken into custody by law enforcement officials. 2 shot and killed at this event. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the deal is. And by the way, this is something that people need to understand here too. Let me just start with this right now. Condolences to everyone that lost their life. Period. Doesn't matter whether you're there just to watch the game, you were there to connect with people that you haven't seen in some time, because a homecoming game is something big for that town. Usually, people usually come back from out of town to go to this homecoming game because, again, it's just nothing but a big reunion spot for people. Again, condolences to everyone that lost their lives. Okay, that's 1. 2. Let this be a thing where if you happen to go to a football game, I want people to be on guard. I know you shouldn't. I know you just should be able to just go there, watch your friends' kids, watch your kid, watch a sporting event. That's all anything's supposed to be when you go out to these type of things, whether it be a high school, middle school, little rec type of situation. People that are just spectators there, they're just trying to enjoy this sporting event that they're out to relax their mind or there to support. You're not supposed to be high on alert for anything to go down, anything to get shaken. You know what I mean? And I think we're kind of past that now. I think when it comes down to people going to these sporting events, whether it be a homecoming game for football, whether it be a basketball game, whether it be anything, hell, it could even be track and field. I think people need to be on high alert and people need to just be cautious. I know, once again, for me, I don't go to those little sporting events. I don't go to the little high school, middle school games that they do. I don't do all that because I don't like being around people like that. And if I have to ever do it, I know me, my paranoia is going to be kicking in. I'll be looking at everybody and everything to see what's going on, kind of like surveil the area. And that's not relaxing to me, bro. Again, when you're at these type of events, you're supposed to be relaxing yourself. You're supposed to be watching something. And that's all you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to expect something stupid to go down and leaving someone dead. And again, that's what happened over in Mississippi. And I do, once again, give my condolences to everyone over there. But I do want this to be a learning lesson for everybody out there. Whether you're a teenager, whether you're an adult that has children or teenagers, or you don't have kids at all, and you just want to go to a sporting event. I would just say, once again, be cautious of going to these places. Be on high alert. Be just cautious of your area. That's all I can say for this particular thing. And yeah, man, I've said this before. I'll say it again. The future generation is cooked, bro. I don't like that. I don't like to even admit that, but the future generation is completely cooked. I hope that it doesn't get worse than this, because a lot of things can happen way worse than this. But again, yeah, rest in peace to everyone that lost their lives. I'm hoping that they catch the people that did do this, because I already made mention that the high school homecoming game, they got the suspect and they're going to be doing that. But the other incident that I talked about that happened at midnight Saturday one, they have no suspects in custody right now, and they are still investigating this. So I hope they do end up finding suspects and they start taking care of that business. All right. So with that, that's all the condolences that I do want to talk about. Now, moving off of that, it's time for me to get political. So before I do that, it's time for me to give that cautionary talk that I do. The thoughts and opinions you're about to hear next about politics come directly from G2. No one else. I am not affiliated to any political party, not Democrat, not Republican. I am just simply G2. Okay? This podcast is not an agenda, political-based driven podcast. It's just me just giving my thoughts and opinion on things, especially now in this political landscape and space that we're in. So that's just what this is about, all right? So just want to throw it out there again. No political agenda is being spread here. Only my thoughts and opinion on things. Now, with that being said, now it's time to talk about it. We're still in the government shutdown. USA Today would write up an article saying that President Trump begins massive layoffs of federal workers in this government shutdown. President Trump on Friday followed through on his long-standing threat to fire federal workers during the government shutdown, taking aggressive actions to downsize the government in a dramatic break from past shutdowns. Now, the people that did get there or did happen to lose their jobs were right here. This was a wave of layoffs, spanned 7 federal departments, 315 workers in the Commerce Department, 466 in the Education Department, 187 in the Energy Department, between 1,100 and 1,200 in the Department of Health and Human Services, 442 in the Department of Housing and Urban Development, 176 in the Department of Homeland Security, and 1,446 in the Treasury Department. So those are the layoffs that Donald Trump, his administration, promised would happen. I hate to hear that people lost their jobs. And again, during a government shutdown, it sucks because not a lot of people are getting paid. The people that are getting paid, again, are the people that kind of make the decisions on whether we open up the government or we keep it shut. And I don't like that. I hate that for a lot of individuals. If I'm not mistaken, I know my mother sent me a clip talking about, I know, and don't quote me on it, I know a Chicago airport is supposed to be shutting down, at least during this government whole situation, because there was a report talking about how workers are calling in sick and they don't have too many workers there to actually work because, again, government shutdown, they're not getting paid. So they decided, screw that. So that airport is supposed to be at least closing, not permanently, but I can see it closing until this government shutdown is over. So that part of Chicago, you won't be able to enter or leave through. So be prepared for that, Chicago. And I know there's another airport. Again, it's not coming to me right now, but that one specifically, I know my mother sent me that video of that. And that was something I talked about, I want to say probably last week, whenever they made mention about this government shutdown happening. I said, I don't know how people have the thought process to still continue going to work if you know you're not going to get paid. And it was just last week I made mention how Trump said that it will be looked at about federal workers, what federal workers will get paid back pay and certain federal workers shouldn't get paid back pay. And I thought that certain people in the news should have been hard pressed on Trump on that, like really press him on that, and even press his administration about that comment, because that is a nasty comment to say. Because, dog, how could you say that certain people in the federal government shouldn't be getting back pay? Dog, if you're not paying them and they're going to work and they have it all categorized and they're being a good soldier to the machine. And again, that's crazy, by the way. You going to work and not getting paid, and you know you're not going to get paid, and you only cross your fingers that you can get back pay. And then you hear the man that's kind of running the country, at least being the figurehead for it, saying that would blow my mind and make me really second guess going into work. I ain't going to hold you, knowing I'm not going to get paid, because you don't know if he's talking about you and your position of people not going to get back pay, or again, you're taking a gamble. But for the people that are still continuing going to work, knowing they're not going to get paid, and still crossing their fingers hoping that they get back pay, I hope that you guys do. I really do. I know earlier this week there was like I'm not going to say article, because they did write up articles about it, but there was a video of people that are in the military showing up to food banks in line with the regular people. And I don't mean to say that in a bad way, but when you say military folks and regular people, I'm talking about people that aren't in the military, people that are out here just being free. You see the military personnel in the food bank line with their with their uniform on, knowing that the military personnel at the time wasn't going to get paid. That was a big something to see, because you still got to think about it. These are the people that are risking their lives to protect the people over here in the States. These are the people that are supposed to, once again, whenever anything of danger comes about, they run off. They got to go to a different country and, again, protect us. And even, it's crazy to even say this out loud, but when you say it, it's crazy. Protect another country who might not even want our protection, but you send them over there to quote unquote protect them from something else. It's just something how you're not going to pay them. And at the time, throughout this week, it was hammered in. How could the administration not pay military personnel, not pay the people that are in the service? Well, as it seems, there's something that's going to be in the working here. The Hill will write up about an article saying that President Trump is kind of instructing the Pentagon to pay military during the shutdown. They were right in the article. President Trump on Saturday instructed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to use available federal funds to pay military service members as an October 15th pay date approaches. He will say on Truth Social, "We have identified funds to do this, and Secretary Hegseth will use them to pay our troops. I will not allow the Democrats to hold our military and the entire security of our nation hostage," and he put that in big bold letters, "with their dangerous government shutdown." So, again, he's blaming the Democrats for this. Again, this is only one part of that. Democrats are not trying to budge on healthcare. They're not trying to budge on people getting their healthcare stuff being taken away, being stripped down. They're not trying to do that at all. So again, that's something that the Republicans should be okay with the Democrats. They should be trying to sit down with them to talk about that stuff. But they, if I'm not mistaken, right now, they're kind of on a weekend. Yeah, because in the article, they would say this: military pay has become a hot button issue after the Senate went home for the long weekend, following another set of failed votes on stopgap funding that would have turned the lights back on until at least November 21st. So they, again, they're on break right now. Hopefully by the break ends, I believe, Tuesday. They go back to work Tuesday. Hopefully you can get Republicans and Democrats once again to sit down and speak with one another to kind of figure out what we can do to get people back, not only back into work, but get people back in and get them paid. That's what I'm hoping for with this issue between the Republicans and Democrats. But I don't have a problem with the Democrats holding out. I really don't. I think the Democrats are doing the right thing. I think that they are really trying to help out people that might be ignorant to the fact that, the person that you might have or might have not voted in is trying to screw you in the healthcare department, and we're trying to make sure that doesn't happen. I think people need to look into that, and really, again, if you are a Republican, you need to go at your Republican lawmakers, your Republican people, your voice is supposed to be representing you. And if you're if you're doing Medicaid, if you have that type of healthcare that the Democrats are really trying to protect, you probably want to talk to your representative and ask, what's going on? Why are you guys trying to take away? Give me something, because I'm reading all the stuff that the Democrats are trying to make sure we don't get railroaded from, and they're really trying to protect us. And I see my party isn't. You guys got to break that down to me. Why? Why not? Why are something? So again, I'm not mad at the Democrats for holding out. I just don't think that the Democrats causing this government shutdown. It's not. It's not really. It's really, again, people not trying to upset the man that's the figurehead of the country. And I think the dark overlords behind the scenes, because again, I've stated this before and I will state it again. Trump being president in this term, he's doing things way different than his first term. I think everyone knows that. 2, I think there's a bigger play at hand because we see a lot of things changing, a lot of things not being followed as the government is supposed to be followed, not being followed as the Constitution is supposed to be followed. And I think it's plain as day, especially when you see, again, military personnel being over here in the States, being over in different states, trying to just be there to watch over the citizens of the state that they've been deployed to. Again, that's just really weird to me. And I think to anyone that's watching it, I think that should be a weird thing for them. They should really be questioning why this is happening. Why? And I've said this before. I want the people that are in the states that the National Guard is sent to, I want them not to cause a big fuss. I don't want them to happen to do anything that would kind of prove Trump's point to say, well, this is the reason why we have them here, for the violence or whatever the crap that he throws out there. Be civil and just be there. If they try to infringe on your rights, hey, tell them you got rights. You know, all the videos that you've seen people sharing online about what to say, what not to say. Follow those videos the best as you can and sue the government when the time comes if they try to infringe on your rights. And again, screw ICE. I don't like ICE. I hate the idea of that, but it is what it is with that. But getting back to it, government shutdown, I hate it. Don't like it, but I understand why the Democrats are doing what they're doing. And I hope that, again, the Republicans, they can come to the table and sit with them so the people can, once again, get their government back open. People can get back being paid, and people can get back pay. Because I still can't figure out how you decide to still go to work knowing you're not going to get paid that week or the next week until this government shutdown is ending. And you're just holding out on faith for back pay. I couldn't do it, but God bless you. Truly, God bless you. Before I get off of politics, there was another thing that happened in politics this week. I believe there was, not going to say was, because they're still in the process of it. There is a ceasefire, at least right now, between Israel and Palestine right now. I'm seeing this article from Reuters. They would say thousands of displaced Palestinians trekked over to the wastelands of Gaza to return to the ruins of their abandoned homes on Friday after a ceasefire took effect and Israeli troops began pulling back under the first phase of an agreement to end the war. Now, continuing in the article, they will say the first phase of Trump's plan to halt the conflict between Israel and Hamas is that Israel was given 24 hours to pull back their troops from positions in urban areas, although they would still hold more than half of Gaza. Israeli police said they were preparing for Trump's visit on Monday that officials said would include a speech, and this is the first by a U.S. president since George W. Bush in 2008. Trump next plan to action would be a call for an international body, the Board of Peace, to play a role in Gaza's post-war administration. The plan calls for Trump to lead it and includes former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. But apparently there's going to be a potential challenge to this plan because Hamas issued a statement late on Friday rejecting what it called any foreign guardianship, adding that the governance of Gaza was purely an internal Palestinian matter. I don't got to beef with that. I don't. I think you guys can come to the table. I think you guys can talk about that personally because, again, I think people on both sides, people in Israel and people Gaza, Palestine, you get my drift here. I think both sets would want this conflict to end. I've said it before when this thing was happening. I wanted there to be a situation where you get the leaders of Palestine or whoever is on the Palestinian side of power, and you get homeboy Benjamin Netanyahu, I believe he's the guy that is kind of like the face for Israel. You put those powers, the people that are in charge of that, all in one room, and you have like a leader that's in the middle, and for this case it will have to be us. You send our best guy And right now, I'm not going to say our best guy, but the guy that's the face of the country, Trump, you put him and his powers in the room with them. You shut the door, you lock it, and you basically say, no one's leaving out of here until we have a plan to end this thing. Because this thing is ridiculous. We've seen casualties, and we've seen the starvation that's happening over on the Palestine, Gaza side, and you've seen casualties, again, on their side of people just losing their lives, innocent people losing their lives as well, people that are just trying to just live after being disheveled and get literally kicked away from their home. Because now with people moving back to their home, because again, in the first phase of this, people are able to move back into their home in some of these areas. Some of these people have no homes to go to. There are places that have been demolished. I mean, there's nothing really to go back to. So right now they really got to start at ground zero. And I think that's wrong, but it is what it is. This is just the reality that they're in right now. And I want that not to be the case anymore. I want people to no longer have to deal with that. If they can find a way, and again, with this board of peace, with Trump going over there to the Middle East Monday, and again, I still hope this happens, lock the powers that be in one room and say this will not end, or that we will not get out until we get to a resolution. We sign a paper, we get it done, and whoever breaks this paper, it'll be hellfire rain down upon you, because that's the only way this thing could be done, and it'll be fair. And don't allow it not to be fair. Allow it to be fair on both sides. I know Gaza, Palestine has taken a lot of crap on them. They have been eating a lot of crap, and I will even put it side by side with the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. Ukraine has been eating a lot of crap from Russia for, I think this thing's been going on now for like 3 years, possibly. And that needs to end too. I think the bigger countries, the people that are in power, I think they need to give up some stuff when you come to a deal to end something, and not expect a lot of stuff from the people that you were going to war with, like the little guys, because there's only so much you can get from them, and on the outside world, not be like you're bullying them when you guys have a ceasefire. I think there needs to be, again, give and take, but needs to be fair. That's all I'm asking for whenever they do these sit downs. And again, they're supposed to do a sit down. So hopefully this ceasefire thing will continue on. And whenever Trump's done with this, hopefully he can work it out more with Putin and dude that's ahead of Ukraine. I can't think of his name right now, but it'll pop in sometime where. But yeah, that's what's going on right now, at least in political news, all of this right now. So with that, I do want to step out of the political bubble. So getting off of that, on to the next thing that I do want to talk about. NBC News. They will write up an article saying that former NFL player seeks $2 million after being mistakenly held at gunpoint by police. Former NFL player Wesley Lisi and his daughter are seeking $2 million after police mistakenly detained them at gunpoint at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport earlier in April. Lisi, a linebacker for the Arizona Cardinals in 1995 and 1996, filed 2 notices of claim last week for $1 million in damages against the city of Mesa and Phoenix. Mesa and Phoenix's police departments, the Phoenix Aviation Department, and the Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. The lawsuit alleges that on April 10th, police pointed their guns at Wesley and then handcuffed him while he was picking up his 26-year-old daughter from the airport. Police mistook Wesley's white Mercedes for a car thought to belong to the suspect of a nearby shooting, the claim says. In the notice, they will say that police officers witnessed a standard, common father and daughter reunion at an airport and then drew their weapons, forcing them both to the ground, handcuffing both of them, and utterly refusing to take the context of the situation into account. Mr. Lisi and his daughter must grapple with the pain and embarrassment stemming from their public arrest/imprisonment at the airport. It will continue in the notice. Representatives for the city departments, and airport said they could not comment on pending litigation. You would think. At the time of the detainment, the Mesa police said in a statement that the shooter was possibly a white male wearing a black ski mask and black sweats. So let me just hit you with this right here. Wesley Lisi and his daughter are black. So if you're looking for, again, at that time, a white male wearing a black ski mask and black sweats, I would think you would know the difference between a white man and a black dude, even if a white dude is wearing a black mask and just black pants, black sweats. You can look at the arms, you can look at the hands, because they never ever said that his arms were clothed, had gloves on. Because if so, guess what? You would have put that in the situation. You would have said that, because you already declared that he was wearing a black mask and black sweats. Why didn't you say he was wearing a black hoodie, black gloves? Because then people would say, well, he was covered head to toe with black. And then guess what? You would just automatically say that cops are racist once again, but you at least can give people the benefit of the doubt because he was wearing all black. But for you to say that he was wearing only a black mask and black pants, that leaves his arms, hands, everything to kind of be seen. Or it gives the people to think that his arms or hands are able to be seen. So there's no way that you don't think that it's a white dude instead of a black dude. There's no way you can't think that. So the cops basically screwed up. I think Wesley Lisi is going to get the money. He's probably going to get more money than just $2 million. So I'm going to be honest with you. If he happens to only get $2 million, I'll just be shocked by that. I would think because of the humiliation and the stupidness of the police officers, they will get more than 2, but who knows? Again, they happened to pick up the 19-year-old white guy days later after detaining Wesley, but it's already been done. The damage has already been done. You arrested me in front of my daughter. It's not a good look. You have it on recording. You did it like dog. It's done. It's a wrap. He's gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid, and I just want, I'm not gonna say fellow officers because I'm not an officer. I want officers to know better. I want officers to think better, because dog, you cannot mistake a white dude with a black mask and black pants for a black dude. You can't. There's no way you could do that. Again, if you happen to think that, you have to detail everything of what he's wearing. You have to detail the black mask, the pants, the hoodie, the long sleeve, like, shirt, some gloves. You got to detail all that type of stuff. Because when you don't, it doesn't give me anything to kind of like back into and say, well, they could have thought this or could have thought that, if you want the benefit of the doubt. You don't get that if you only just say black mask and black pants. You don't. But anyway, Wesley Lisi, he's going to get paid. I'm hoping that him and his daughter don't have any real bad, what do I like to call it, trauma from this. But we'll wait and see. I know they kind of said in the, notice that they, what is it? I want to make sure I got this right, because I'm not going to, nope. Where is it? Right here. The lawyer for Wesley Lisi said Friday that Wesley and his daughter have sought therapy because of this incident. So they already got to add a little bit more sauce to it. I'm pretty sure they did go to therapy probably once or twice, maybe. Not going to say maybe. I'll say the once or twice. More times after that, that'll probably be a maybe thing to me. But you got to go there for the lawsuit case. You know what I mean? You got to put that in there. Because, again, it could have affected you. And, again, you got to put that in there. But it does help out your suit to say you were traumatized. It does help. So, again, Wesley Lisi and his daughter, I'm pretty sure they're going to get paid. If they don't, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be, again, something back channel that happened there. But we'll wait and see what happens there. Speaking of waiting and seeing, Mark Sanchez, former NFL player. He, I believe, is now a commentator, or at least he might have his job kind of be suspended, or he might be out of a job. I believe he was part of the Fox commentating team for football. But either way, last week, Mark Sanchez was in the news because of an altercation that he had with a 69-year-old truck driver. At first, people didn't know what the deal was. People saw Mark Sanchez, not going to say stabbed. They heard about him being in the hospital. They heard about him being stabbed. And at first, people were, again, as one would do, you give your thoughts and prayers to someone that has been stabbed or something that happened to them traumatic, because you don't know what happened, but you want to just get that out there, right? But as the week goes by and more information comes out, you realize that Mark Sanchez wasn't the victim in this, at least is what is being told to everyone. He was actually the aggressor. NBC Sports will write about it. They will say that Sanchez allegedly approached the 69-year-old truck driver with a complaint regarding where the vehicle was parked. Sanchez allegedly claimed that the hotel manager had told him the truck was parked in an improper spot. The situation went downhill from there, with Sanchez allegedly battering the truck driver, Peter Toll, before Toll delivered a blast of pepper spray to Sanchez's face. When Sanchez allegedly kept moving towards Toll, Toll stabbed Sanchez multiple times. So there's been bits and pieces of evidence that's been emerging. The New York Post posted video earlier in the week of Sanchez walking downtown in Indianapolis after the altercation with blood on the shirt. On Friday, TMZ released video of Sanchez from the moments before he allegedly went and beat up the truck driver. And per TMZ News, Sanchez was roaming at times, stumbling around downtown Indianapolis in roughly 20 minutes of surveillance footage. So right now, Sanchez is facing multiple criminal charges, including felony battery. Separately, the alleged victim, Peter Toll, has sued Mark Sanchez and Fox for the injuries suffered during the fight with Sanchez. So here's what I'm going to say right now. Mark Sanchez, more than likely drunk, and he got into this thing with a 69-year-old driver, and he just didn't mind his business. That's what I will say with this. Mark Sanchez didn't mind his business, because why would a hotel manager come up to you and tell you that this truck was parked in an improper spot? I would think that the hotel manager would probably call law enforcement. Just a thought, because that's who you're supposed to call when something like this happens. You call law enforcement to kind of get the person out of there, out of that spot, or kind of like tap it. You don't go to a person that doesn't work at this establishment about said situation that you don't like. It just doesn't make sense to me. But again, whatever. Mark Sanchez, I feel that he was probably drunk. They said he was walking around stumbling downtown Illinois. So when people say that they're stumbling and they're walking, especially at nighttime, it gives the illustration of someone being inebriated. So that was probably what happened with Sanchez getting into it with a 69-year-old truck driver. You're going to look like a dickhead. Doesn't matter what it is. You could have been, and just hear me out here. You could have been doing a favor for the hotel manager. But once you get into an altercation with a 69-year-old driver, and it comes out that it is a 69-year-old driver, there's no way you're not being looked at as the dickhead. There's no way you're not. The only way you'll be not looked at as a dickhead is if the truck driver was saying some real racist stuff to you, spit at you, something like that. Then people will say, okay, I understand Mark Sanchez putting hands on the driver. But none of that ever came out, man. None of that ever came out. But, hey, it is what it is. Sanchez is facing what he's facing, and I'm pretty sure Fox is more than likely going to be firing Sanchez. That's what I've got for you here. When more information comes out about Mark Sanchez and his case and his situation, we'll bring it back and I'll talk about it more. And sticking technically in the football arena here, it has been announced that Turning Point USA is throwing its own Super Bowl halftime show. For people that don't know, Turning Point USA was the organization founded by Charlie Clerk. And again, I don't even like saying homeboy's name on here because I didn't talk about it when he was living. But somehow he has a bigger impact in his passing than when he did living. But again, I digress in that factor. Turning Point USA. This is the whole conservative Republican Party kind of mess right here. They are throwing their own halftime show during the Super Bowl because they do not like that Bad Bunny is going to be performing at the Super Bowl. Turning Point USA's website for the event, dubbed the All-American Halftime Show, states that it will celebrate faith, family, and freedom. I don't like that. That is nasty, bro. That is completely nasty. What are we doing here? Like, seriously, what are we doing? Why are you guys opposed to Bad Bunny, like, doing the Super Bowl halftime? Seriously, it doesn't make sense to me. You guys can turn off the television. You guys can have the freaking thing on mute as you're watching the show whenever the Super Bowl halftime comes up. You guys can literally leave your room. But no people was going to do that. They're going to turn it on mute or something. You can be on your phone. You can be on your laptop. Dude, you can do anything during this halftime show. You don't have to be a complete, in pardon my language here, because I have to say that because my mom listens to this. You don't have to be a jackass to want to throw your own halftime show and be big babies. Like, dog, this is nothing but a big baby mentality. Like, seriously. Come on, dog. He is one of the biggest artists out here in the world. Why are you guys poo-pooing on this? Just because you don't know Spanish? Hell, I don't know Spanish like that, bro. I'm not going to say I'm going to learn Spanish because Bad Bunny did make a little joke whenever he was hosting SNL last week saying that, hey, you guys got 4 months to learn Spanish. And he was getting at the people that was complaining that he's going to be doing the halftime show. Dog, if you don't know Spanish, guess what? I'm pretty sure you still might have a bop to this Bad Bunny stuff. Like, dog, only thing you have to do is just hear the song, and you might not hear him, but just hear the rhythm. If the rhythm gets to you, guess what? Just bob your shoulders. Make a little dance up. Do something. Because white people, they love to make up dances. They do. But, dog, it's not going to be as big of a thing. It's not. Your whole Turning Point thing, I think that thing's going to be a complete fail. I think the people that's going to turn into it, I think you guys are, I hate to even say this like this, but it's a joke. It is, man. Seriously, it's not that big of a deal. You shouldn't be throwing this type of event. And anyone that attends to this freaking Turning Point USA thing, I think you guys should not want to post that. Because people will forever remember who went to that freaking event. People will remember it, and best believe if something bad happens with your party, because, again, Turning Point USA, Republican Party, and we're seeing exactly what Republicans are doing out here, people will always throw it up in your face and say, aren't you the one that went to this? This is something that was not meant for anything. You guys could have just sat home and did nothing. But you guys decided to be babies and do this. Again, it just makes you look like a loser. And I don't want that for people. I don't. A lot of people do a lot of loser, stupid, idiot things. And I think this is one of them. I think this is stupid. I think people don't need to be doing this. I think you're just going to be wasting a lot of your time, personally. And I'm hoping that this thing is just a fail, personally. I hope that this thing doesn't sell as many tickets or get tickets or whatever it is. I hope it doesn't work. That's all I do. I do hope that. And it's not me hating on this. It's just that it's just dumb, man. It's dumb. Come on. Find something better with your life. Seriously. You're going to watch the freaking Super Bowl. Turn your television on mute if you don't want to hear Bad Bunny. And just go about your day, bro. That's all you got to do. You don't have to do that. Quit being a loser. Now, moving off of Bad Bunny, still sticking in music, Business Insider will write up an article, and it's about Puff. They will say that Puff's judge offers him a way to cut up a year off of his prison sentence. The judge would offer, or more or less recommend, Combs to consider any substance abuse program while incarcerated. In a letter to Puff's lawyers made public late Wednesday, the judge specified the Federal Bureau of Prisons residential drug abuse program. This program is an intensive 500-hour, 9-month substance abuse treatment program for inmates. Completing it could entitle Puff to as much as a full year's early release from behind bars, prison consultants have told Business Insider. So what I'm understanding is if Puff takes this recommendation and he completes this program, he can get a year shaven off. So meaning, okay, he had 4 years that they said they were going to be behind bars. I already said he'll probably be doing 2.5 of that 4 years. So if he does this, so we'll see him probably get out in a 1.5 years time once he gets done doing that program. So probably about around 2027, probably late 2027, I can see him being out of prison if he happens to do this. If I was Puff and I would be, I'm not gonna say I would be him. If I was Puff's lawyer, I would say, yo, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do that so we can hurry up and get you out of here. We're not gonna constantly have you try to appeal what the judge is saying, because if what you're doing, you're probably gonna piss him off and you probably might have to stay there for all 4 years. No. Let's just play ball. Let's do this abuse program. Let's shave off a year off your sentence. Let's get that out the way. And then just be a model citizen while you're in there. And then guess what? Trust me, they will find you some leniency. You'll be able to get out. They'll put some type of ankle monitor on you, put you in a halfway house, something of the sort. But you'll be out of there and you'll be one step back to being in regular civilian lifestyle. Something that Puff hasn't been able to be in for about a year and some months now. So again, if I was Puff's lawyers, I would tell Puff, yo, this is what we're doing. Don't make this difficult for myself and don't make this difficult for you. Me, I get paid either way. I'm just trying to work for the best of my client. So Puff, I would say take it, do what you got to do so you can get out. All right. Now, on to the last thing that I do want to make mention of. It's Drake's whole Not Like Us defamation suit. This was something that I believe he started earlier in the year. The suit has been dismissed. The judge on Thursday found that Kendrick Lamar's diss track advances opinions that can't be considered defamatory. A reasonable listener could not have concluded that Not Like Us was conveying objective facts about Drake, the judge wrote. In a statement, a spokesperson for Drake said the ruling will be appealed. A representative for Universal Music Group said from the outset the suit was an affront to all artists and their creative expression and should have never seen the light of day. It added, we're pleased with the court's dismissal and look forward to continuing our work successfully promoting Drake's music and investing in his career. So what this means is this whole thing of Kendrick slandered me, Kendrick talked bad about me, Kendrick could have killed some of the businesses that I was doing or business deals in the future, all this crap from the whole Not Like Us thing, that has been thrown out. That's no longer a thing. Drake lost in that front. So I'm glad that happened. A lot of people in hip hop are glad that happened. Dog. This is just another thing that was a waste of everybody's time. I think when this thing got thrown up into litigation, not even litigation, but just the thought of it going to court, people like myself and a lot of other people said, this is stupid. How are you going to sue someone over a diss track? That makes absolutely no sense. Like, this shouldn't even be going through. But it did. It went through. But the judge finally said enough was enough. And, hey, we're going to dead all this. This is not a real thing. This is not going to waste any more of my time, any more of your lawyer's time or UMG's lawyer's time. We're just going to throw this whole thing out because it's stupid. Basically what the judge said. This thing was dumb. You can't sue someone over that because this is not an objective fact. This was in music. This was a rap battle that you and your opponent, your competitor, your sparring partner, Kendrick Lamar, took in, and you guys were both spewing things at one another. And in a rap battle, that's what you guys do. You make nasty comments towards one another. More recently now than ever. That's how a rap battle happened now. I can't attest how it was in the 80s. I know 90s Biggie and Pac, infamously, again, Tupac, start off hit him up. That's why I screwed your girl, you fat so-and-so. And then it just continued on. And the levels of disrespect as the decades would go on will be more grander and bigger and bigger. And that's usually what happens in hip hop. Hip hop, we just take the dirty stuff and we just rap about it and do what we want about it. Cause, hey, we're gonna make something out of the negatives. So that's usually what rap is about. And hip hop battles, hey, it just is what it is. You just sling mud at one another and you let the people say who won. And we all knew right here that Kendrick was the winner in the rap battle last year. And now we know that UMG won in this court case. And Drake, listen, dog, you and your lawyer should not be appealing this. Just take your L, go home, sit down, and just make better music, bro. Focus on your Iceman album that you're supposed to be doing and just make great music on it. That's all you got to do. Just continue to make great music, and that's it. Because that's all the people are really clamoring for now. We all know that you lost. Great. Cool. Fine, whatever. What's the next big hit that you have for us? We had time. We sat down with it. People still rock with Kendrick. You have your followers that are still rocking with you. And then you have the people like myself that like both of these gentlemen. But we're waiting for the slaps. We're waiting for the great hits to come out. Kendrick already provided us with the whole GNX album, which I found that whole album unbelievably great. And that's something I will play back all the time. Your albums, from what I'm seeing from people, I didn't really listen to songs Sexy For You, that whole you and Party Next Door album. I didn't really listen to that because the songs I would click onto and just get a little sample of, I'm like, nope, that ain't for me. Not a lot of songs came out of that people were really bumping at all. Only thing that really popped was like the Nokia joint, but it was really the second half of that. The whole Baby Girl part of that mess that really bumped. But people are saying, that, dude, you just need to make better songs, make better things, make better hits. That's all people are waiting for you, man. Make the hits, and people will forget about this thing. Not everybody, but a lot of people will forget and say, all right, he came back and he got the hits. All right, cool. That's it. So Drake, don't appeal it. Just go back in the studio, make the hits, put out the Iceman joint, and everybody will forget. Not forget, but we'll be okay. And say, all right, he's back. If the songs are good. That's all I will say for you for this right now. But yeah, quit trying to sue, bro. It's nasty work. Is there anything else that I do want to make mention of before I get out of here? No. I believe that's everything. Oh, Peacemaker. I saw all of season 2 for Peacemaker. James Gunn, bro. For what he was able to do in Marvel and what he was able to do now in DC, I say he's one of the highly touted directors for comic books. And, yo, bravo for what you did with Peacemaker, bro. I swear, I wouldn't have thought making a Peacemaker series was going to be as entertaining as it has been. If you guys haven't seen Peacemaker, and again, you don't have to be the biggest superhero comic book fan, because trust me, I'm not the biggest comic book head type guy like that. This is a series that you could easily pick up and watch, and I think you'll be enjoyed by it if you're into the whole action stuff. You'll get some action scenes here and there, but it's more, I'll say season 2 is more about tapping into the emotions of Peacemaker and the people that's around him. And again, I like it. And oh yeah, if you are going to watch Peacemaker, I would suggest watch the Suicide Squad, not the one that has Will Smith in it. Watch the one that has Idris Elba, John Cena, like the second one, because that one plays into Peacemaker, season 1 and season 2, especially season 2, because of someone's dad pulls up in season 2 that was in the Suicide Squad. But again, that's just me going off on that. But Suicide Squad, great. The Suicide Squad, great movie. But Peacemaker, both season 1 and season 2, I would highly suggest people would watch that, especially even if you're not a comic book guy or gal. I would think you would enjoy it. Anything else after this? No. Nope, I think that's about it. So, with that said, Now it's time for me to get you guys out of here. I would like to thank all the podcasting sites that have me up here. I would like to thank Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, all the other podcasting sites that have me out here. I don't want to forget them, because without them, I won't be able to get this podcast out to you guys, downloaders and listeners. So I'd like to thank them. But I would also like to thank you guys, downloaders and listeners, for downloading the episode and just listening to me talk about the news that happened. You guys could have done anything else with your time, but you happen to listen to me, and I appreciate that. Whether you're in your car, you're inside your home, in the gym, headphones on, in the speakers, I appreciate it so much, because without you guys, I'll just be one guy talking into a mic, into a void. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate knowing that this podcast is not only a United States podcast, but is an international podcast, because I have listeners from different countries, and I really do appreciate that so much. Again, a guy that doesn't have as much social media presence, being able to tap into different places around the world, and they just listen to me talk about things that happen. I appreciate that so much, truly. You guys, I don't think you guys really understand that, but it means a lot. Trust me, don't think I don't take that for granted. It's not. It really means a lot, all right? So with that said, always remember,
I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you.
I do love you all. That is not a gimmick. I appreciate every single one of you guys for once again listening to the My Two Cents podcast, presented by and hosted by G2. He is I and I am him. This isn't goodbye. This is until you hear from the sweet sounding voice again. And before I leave you guys, I do want to say this. If you haven't seen WWE's Crown Jewel for Perth, I would say go watch it, because you got a classic match from AJ and John Cena in that. You got a good match between Cody and Seth. You got more continuing storylines from Roman Reigns and his cousins, the Usos. Again, I'll tap more into that on tomorrow's episode when I give a whole review of that show, as well as TNA's Bound for Glory. That's happening tonight. I'm going to be talking about that episode, that pay-per-view as well. So expect that episode to drop tomorrow. So it'll be a 2 wrestling event review on one show tomorrow. That's what you guys should be able to look forward to tomorrow on Monday. But the schedules are still the same. Wednesday, you get another midweek breakdown episode out of me. Thursday, another wrestling related episode out of me, called the Let's Have a Chat series. Saturday, wrestling highlights of the week. Sunday, another My Two Cents podcast episode where I talk about everything that happens in the news. So that's what's to look forward to this upcoming week. So with that, I want everyone to be blessed. Don't be a dick. Be courteous to everyone that you do come across, and try to be on your very best behavior. All right? So with that said, Kanye, could you please take these people home?
I'm tired, you tired, Jesus wept.